So we all know that the New Haven models were the economy brand name for Mossbergs. And in the case of these 22s, they were supposed to be the cheaper name, the cheaper models. But in this case, in my opinion, this New Haven model surpassed the Mossberg example. Let's take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Milsurp Garage. So what do we got? The New Haven Model 250 CA, 22 caliber, short, long, and long rifle, semi-auto. We're going to see how that happens. The shorts are high velocity only. 7-round magazine, the Magic magazine that will change 22 round sizes at the flip of a finger, according to MOSSBERG. Very unique, pretty cool. We're going to check that out. This guy's got an 18.5-inch barrel. That's right. It's short. It's a carbine. It doesn't have one of those fold down front ends on it. It's just a straight up carbine. It's got the acro groove, 8 groove rifling. It's got that hammerless design. You know, it's this newer type of MOSSBERG. The newer type being, like in the 60s, mid to late 60s. It's when they started to have this sleeker looking design. These were a value priced copy of the MOSSBERG Model 350K. That was the one that it's the economy version of. The 350K was introduced in 1958 and made through 1971. This 250, the 250 CA was introduced. It might have been introduced as like the KA, but it was introduced in 1959, a year after the 350, and it was made through 1970. It was discontinued a year before the 350K ended. So it was around pretty much the same amount of time as the rifle that it was the economy version of. Here's a list of it. It's the one in the middle. If you notice, it is a 23.5-inch barrel. So if you wanted a carbine version of a 350K, which the 350K was very, very popular. It really was one of MOSSBERG's most popular. You can see it says genuine American walnut. This is supposed to be finished walnut. The 250 is supposed to, the New Haven brand is supposed to be finished walnut. I'm not exactly sure what that means. So if anybody knows what that means, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look like any kind of veneer. It looks like walnut to me. I know those stocks that say that always seem like they're just as good as the genuine walnut stocks. They do not come with sling swivels. There's like no bells and whistles here. You know what I mean? But the sights are pretty cool. It does have adjustable sights. We'll take a closer look at them in a minute. But you see the 351K on the bottom there is a tubular magazine version of it. They went in the stock. Well, you don't see the tube under the barrel because it goes in the stock. You could see it's like goes in the butt plate, but you could see on the side of the stock there is that little loading port. And up on top, what's up on top is the carbine. This 352K was the carbine with that fold down front end. Yeah, so the New Haven brand here was kind of cool in the sense that it took the very, very popular 350K, and that was the way to get a carbine version of it, you know. And this magazine, let's break out, first of all, before we even get into the features, let's break this out. So here's my, get it off the the clipboard here. This is the MOSSBERG, my main MOSSBERG list here. Who's this guy? We should give this guy credit. Where did this come from? Had some kind of website on here. National MOSSBERG Association, possibly? Well, they have the Chronology of MOSSBERG Firearms, 1919 to 2019. It's pretty cool. As much as we look for something on this first page, we do not have anything. Here's our second page. This is where we're at so far with our 22s. This will give you a little window into what we might have to feature that you haven't seen yet. Little spoiler there for the Milsurp Garage. Well, here we are right here with the New Haven brands. This right in here, this mix right here from 220 to 250 of the New Haven brands. And we're right down here. This was originally introduced as the 250K. This one, it's always kind of strange to work with this because it goes in alphabetical order, if you notice. Like C, CA, CB, CT, K, KA, but not, it's supposed to be a chronology, but yet you see that it's not in chronological order over here. So you got to kind of really start doing some detective work and moving around to figure it out. The bottom line is that this is the same as the C, which was introduced 1962. But you see I had come up with 59 because here's the K right here, the 250K 59. So this was the first version of it. Same action as the earlier 152 rifle length. So then you got to go all the way back to the 152 up here and then read what that one was. So that had a fold down forend. So I don't know, it says it's the same length, but does it have the same fold down forend? I don't know. You'd have to start really researching and pulling up pictures of all these different model numbers to figure it out. But bottom line is the 250C, it's an improved version of it. 62 to 66, they made it the C, and then in 66, they improved the firing pin. Here's a way we could date this thing. I'm pretty sure the date on this rifle is 1968. How can we do that? 66 to 69 is when they made the CA. So we have 4 years there. So how are we going to figure? Well, it has a serial number on it. So if it has a serial number on it, it has to be 68 and 69. And you can see here that in 69, they changed to a long rifle only mag in 69. Mid-year, it looks like, because it's 69, it ends here and takes over there the same year. So that's could denote you might have both. So it could be a 69, I guess, technically, but I'm thinking more like 68 because it doesn't have the long rifle only mag. It has this mag. Now this is the cool part. We're gonna get into this. Should we get into this right away? Let's let it be suspenseful. Let's take a look at exactly what we got here. So we got a unmarked butt plate because of the New Haven brand, just a hard plastic butt plate. Wood that, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's all that finished beautifully, but it does. It is nice. It doesn't have the finger grooves, right? I think it started to get older. I mean, these newer ones didn't come with the finger grooves like that. It's got this thumb safety right here. Pretty positive engagement. And it's pretty cool. It's got a red dot there for when you're in the fire position. It's got a bolt that you can push down into this hole right here, and you could hold open, right? And it's pretty smooth, easy to operate bolt. Grooved here for a scope mount. Okay, look at the sight. The rear sight is adjustable. It's got a little screw there, and you could slide that back and forth for windage adjustment, and the elevation adjustment is done here with the elevator. Let's check out the scrolling on it. New Haven, model 250CA, 22 short, high velocity. They're not kidding when they say that. We're going to take a look. Long rifle. Made by OF Mossberg & Sons Incorporated. North Haven, Connecticut. New Haven from North Haven. And there's the front sight. Some places say beaded front sight, but there's no bead on here. This one does not have a bead. I got to clean that front sight up. I don't like how that looks. It's a little grimy in there. We're going to get that. We're going to get that cleaned up. So, where are we? The magazine. Let's get back to the magazine. So this magazine is my first MOSSBERG magazine that looks like this. Now here, I had showed you before. Here's some pictures of magazines. I found these on some chat thread that some guy knew all these magazines and was talking about them. It all started when I saw a MOSSBERG rifle that was really nice. One of these ones that I dig. It was very cheap, and it was kind of like a cool one. It had some features I hadn't seen before. I don't remember what. If I could find the pictures of it, I'll post it. But I don't know. It might be buried in my photos. I might never find it. But it did not have a magazine, and I was looking to see if I'd be able to use what magazine did this one use or whatever, and that got me into the rabbit hole of what magazines go with what MOSSBERGs, and I realized I am not up to the task of figuring it out. And then I learned about these, and I didn't have one of these, and I would always look around and say, I'm going to find one of these rifles that has these. MOSSBERG called these magic magazines. Magic in the sense that they could take long rifle cartridges in this position. They had this, see this circle here, one over here on either side. This you could grab with your fingers, and you could lift, and you could move this back like that to now take longs. And then you could move it back another notch to here to take shorts. Now, of course, we could test this out and fool around with it. We could use my realistic snap caps, but I only have long rifle. They only make these in long rifle. These are the only thing, in my opinion, to do any type of magazine or firearm function testing with, like playing around like this, especially when you're dealing with rimfire, especially. These things are awesome. I recommend them highly. They have a coupon code for me because I speak so highly of them. They're cool enough to give me a coupon code for the channel. It's Milsurp Garage, one word, MILSURPGARAGE. And if you put that in at checkout for your entire order, they don't just sell 22s. They have all different calibers. You'll get 10% off with that coupon code. Now, like I said, I'm only going to be able to show you the long rifle setup, but even how they go in this magazine, how smooth they work in this magazine. This is an awesome mag. We'll do some, we'll just check out the, yeah, we got 5 in there. The way these work, there's like a channel here that goes in there. It's a very way to positively locate the magazine because it just slides right in that, right along that hard metal. You know, it's like it's not going to move or bend or anything like that. Although slapping magazines in and out, that'll hold its integrity to perfectly place the magazine exactly where it needs to go. And it clicks into place. And these, that literally flew out of the room. These will go flying. All right, let's. It's balking. Eat my words there. What's going on? Why want to pick another one up? Look, stuck in there. See that? Got stuck a little bit. I can tell you that when you actually shoot these, okay, hold on. This one that literally left the room, I have to go get for the dog, but the dog is creeping around out there. Yeah, I can imagine me looking through my dog's poop for a couple of days looking for a realistic snap cap. So, yeah, this is one of those ones that, you know, with function testing, like playing around like this with your hands, it does not Does not work as well. Wow. Interesting. What is going on? Man, this thing is unhappy. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't work as well as when you actually shoot it. There's something about the power of it ejecting when you're actually exploding around is, of course, much more energy imparted to the action than when you're just doing it by hand like this. And but I can guarantee you that this action definitely works snappy. It works well. I know that appears like an action failure there, but trust me, these are smooth as silk when you're shooting them. And check this out. See these bits? You might see these in your screwdriver set. If you buy like a, what is mine again? It's a Wheeler set, like the gunsmithing screwdriver. You're going to see a fat rounded one like this. This is like specifically for these takedown screws. Some of them have a concave type of fat screw. Some of them that just straight across, like with this one. And then these, you see, you don't want to gouge these up. And these will actually stand up straight in these screw slots. These are the ones to use. Let's take a look inside this guy. I'll show you how the new brand of MOSSBERGs, how they the new wave of MOSSBERGs from the 60s, how they changed things up, and they're pretty cool. The actions on them were pretty awesome. This originally, you see some of them I press, like there's like a clip here that I pull out. These, they started to turn into like twist offs, screw offs. So these caps here actually had threads. You would take them out, the bolt would move back. Then you would be able, that second hole, see this is the hole for locking the bolt in place. This hole here. See how there's two here, two holes here. So this one would be for locking the bolt in place. This one back here, the bolt would never really reach that. But here when you take this cap off, now it does reach, and the bolt handle simply lifts right out. Pretty cool, right? Let's get a little closer look here. So now you can manipulate the trigger here a little bit to get the entire bolt assembly. Just slides right out. Now, you see that the CA, the difference from the C to the CA was an improved firing pin. So somebody with a C model might want to pull it out, pull the bolt out, get to this point. At this point, the firing pins, they just lift right out of a channel right here. Theoretically, they're supposed to. Wow, you know what? Let me, don't know why that's not just lifting right out. It's an awkward item. I touched it. I got a tool. I touched it and then it falls out. So yeah, there's the firing pin. Tell you not to dry fire these. This is one of those guns they tell you not to dry fire. They say you can crystallize the firing pin, whatever that means. There's the actual firing pin tip. Look at how they taper that down, kind of like polygonally into a it's like a trapezoid. And yeah, that's that. And then can this come apart any further? Well, yeah, this is like kind of like the striker, sort of. There's like a couple of springs. You could take this apart and get down here further if you really wanted to. I'm not going to mess around. There's an ejector groove and a single extractor, it looks like. Single claw extractor. This is a pretty, this one's in pretty good shape. You can see all of these components here are nice and sharp. This might actually act a little finicky like that, like it did with the snap caps, because it might actually be very new, believe it or not. That might be the reason, is that it's a very green gun. It doesn't really have much mileage on it. It might not even be broken in yet, believe it or not. And then, yeah, so you slide this right back into place. A little pull on the trigger, and the bolt is right back in there again. We line up where the bolt handle should be. I think this doesn't matter which side is up or down over here. It's the same on either side. And you get that in there. Trigger. Do we have to pull the trigger? What gets it to move along here? It's not 100% lined up. There we go. Boom. And then this is just springy like that. So you just use this to push it all in and screw it on. Always, whenever you have tension on something that's threaded, it's always a little awkward, but take your time. Don't cross thread it. Now what you want to do is you want to go down as far as you can go. It's bound to not be lined up properly when you go down as far as you can go like that. Don't force it anymore. It's plastic, so you'll break it. So just back off to the next, the least amount of turns to make it there. Don't try to force it to the next turn. And then, yeah, these are easy to just drop right into the stock. Boom. Anything written in here? I don't think there was. I always like to look, see if there's anything weird written. No serial numbers, no nothing. Nothing on here. But like I said, these, we don't have to worry about dating this one, just because of the, it's kind of like you could date it by options and how they change stuff through the years. They're making a lot of changes year by year. It's easy for you to date it. Obviously 68 and 69 are the only 2 years that it had a serial number. And then you're able to take 69 out of the equation, because those did not have this magazine. They replaced it with a magazine that was just for long rifle only. I wonder why they did that. I wonder if these just weren't popular, or if maybe it's because they didn't work. Like, I would think so. If I didn't take it to the range already and already shoot this gun and it worked flawlessly, I would say, like, yeah, this magazine is terrible. It won't even cycle long rifle. So what's the point in having it cycle all three if it doesn't work? But what I did do was I took it to the range, and I saw that you really do need high velocity on the shorts. I guess we'll get to that in a little bit. What else do I have? Well, here this is almost all I got for you here. We'll get to the shooting video, but here I have an instruction book for it that I found that's kind of interesting. So it breaks down its features as the New Haven version of it, which is pretty cool. You know, they had to be a lot less of the New Haven version than the actual regular 350Ks, you would imagine. So it's kind of cool to see somebody auctioning this and getting to see what it actually looked like, the instruction book. Pretty cool to break down its actual features and stuff like that. The actual model, the actual CA version of it. And these 1968 guns, I'm always partial to them, because I was born in 1968. So any of these guns that date to 68, I feel a real kinship with. So yeah, it shot really well. I'm telling you, like, you can look in here for yourself. There were no issues. There wasn't any of those issues that you see with the snap caps. It's one of those rifles that just does not like to be cycled by hand or function by hand. It fully needs, the bang bang going on to be able to function right, that's when you need it to function right. With the shorts, it would fire, and I think it had enough oomph to eject. If I remember correctly, it was kicking the cases out, but it was not picking up the next round. And I was going to say, it didn't have enough oomph to pick up the next round, but you would think it would pass by. It would definitely be, the bolt would be back far enough if it was hitting the ejector to pick up the next round. So maybe it wasn't. I don't know if you could tell in the video if when I cycle the action each time if a case is coming out. I don't remember. I did this a while ago, but it just absolutely refused to cycle. Maybe I was just using regular CCI strings. I have to take another visit and see. I will report back. But yeah, the 22 shorts I was using, whatever they were not working. So now I can't really blame the rifle because I'm trying to remember. I might have just had regular standard velocity shorts. So what do I got here? I got the Brownell's Encyclopedia. Let's get a picture of the cover here so we could anybody wants to pick one of these up. It is the Encyclopedia of Modern Firearms by Brownell. Boom. Over here in the MOSSBERG section, here it is right here. The 350K. They do not have any of the New Haven guns in here, unfortunately. And as far as with 22s, they do break down function for the new versions. How to take them apart. What I just showed you, basically, how to take them apart. Here's the bolt action ones. Here's the semi-autos here. Here's what I just showed you. So nothing new there. But there is a lot of there's a lot of do not use grease all over this, right? All over. So don't use grease. And there's an exploded view of the 350 here somewhere. But I don't know how much that's really going to matter. Oh, here we have 200. 200. But that's just a MOSSBERG. There were some MOSSBERGs. There's a MOSSBERG in the 200 range. And here's the 352. So I guess maybe they don't have the 350 broken down. Well, the Encyclopedia of Modern Firearms had to work with what was available when this particular, version of it. This book was made through a bunch of years, a bunch of different printings, and this is the 16th printing, 1975. This one, and it kind of falls in a range where I get a lot of the 70s guns that I'm looking for, a lot of the 60s and 70s MOSSBERGs that I'm looking for. This book started in 59, so if you got one from 59 or 60, you've been missing out on all that stuff. You know what I mean? So be careful when you buy that encyclopedia. Depending on where your area of interest lies, you might want to get a later one. I was actually looking to see if I can get one even later into the 70s to have even more stuff, and see, just to compare. But it's tough to find those, so haven't really found anything yet. So that's what I got, ladies and gentlemen, on the 1968 New Haven Model 250 CA, which is the store brand for the MOSSBERG Model 350K. Very, very popular 22 semi-automatic rifle. You could put scopes on these things. You could mess around with a Magic magazine. Nobody else had this, I don't think, a move around magazine like that. Pretty cool idea. But I have seen a lot. I have seen these before with this broken, and then the magazine doesn't really work. I have seen that with this part broken. So it's fragile. I don't mess around with it. I just use it the way it's supposed to be used. I don't abuse it because I know that they do break. I have seen those on gun store shelves. Bust. I go, oh, there's one with that adjustable magazine, and it's all broken. So it's pretty. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they went away with it after a year or so. They dipped on it because maybe it was too fragile. Maybe they were breaking. So I'm going to be careful with mine. If you have one that still works, be careful with yours. And Milsurp Garage, wishing you all a good day. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Good to have you all along. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you all next time.